Wrong button. I told you it wouldn't be a podcast without a technical glitch. All right, what's going on, everybody? Let me stop the video there. That's not being shown. There we go. Welcome to State of the Verse. God, stupid camera. Get to the right camera. I'm having all kinds of issues today, and I swear I've not been drinking. Welcome to State of the Verse, everybody, our weekly podcast about the latest and greatest in the Star Citizen universe. I'm Dark Hour 717, as always, joined by Jay Scale, member of Amarok's Fang. And of course, we have two other guests from Amarok's Fang, both returning guests. We have Anril and Buck. How you guys all doing?
Howdy, howdy. Doing pretty good.
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I finally got what I asked for. Been complaining that I haven't had any snow, and then Wednesday through Friday morning they decided to dump about 11 to 12 inches on me. So, uh, got a good workout for my snowblower, and I finally have snow on the ground. It's all the way up to the bottom of my mailbox, thanks to the plows on the road. So that I know headed east. I think it went up into New England. I don't think it went down south though. But I know the East Coast got a hell of a lot of snow like the week before I did. So, all right. So, of course, we cover all the latest and greatest news and information here, and we definitely have a lot to go over. We are going to open up a can of salt at one point here, so I'll just give everybody a warning on that. And I will say, my opinion is not a reflection of anybody else in Amrock's Fangs, whether it be J Scale or our guests, Anril and Bucks. They are solely my opinion. So send the hate mail to me, okay? You can send it to darkhourexperience at gmail.com. But what we always do is, of course, go over the current offers, events, and everything like that. Of course, everybody knows Xenothreat is going on, which everybody that I know, we all love it. And actually, for this Xenothreat, I really was a little skeptical at first, but we'll get into that here in a second. But they do have some sales that are going on. They have the solo sales that are opened up for Xenothreat under the Gear Up for Xenothreat you can find on the RSI website. They got the Ion and the Inferno for the 250 US dollars. They got the Eclipse at 300 US dollars, but also has a War Bond upgrade available, so you can CCU up to that at a lower cost. The Buccaneers 110, of course, they also have the Titan and Gladius available, which I think are always available. Multi-crew ships, they are actually pushing out the Gladiator at 165, the Hurricane at 195, which also has a Warbond CCU upgrade available. And then the Vanguards, the three out of the four Vanguards, they got the Warden at 260, the Sentinel at 275, and the Harbinger at 290. The Retaliator Bomber at 275, the Redeemers at 325, and of course the Hammerhead at 725, but it also has a Warbond CCU upgrade, which I actually took advantage of that and I grabbed myself one of those. So I had a Prowler that came in a pack I wasn't using, so I CCU'd that up to the Hammerhead. So I am I figured I was going to, once I get my loaner gets taken away, I'm going to want that Hammerhead back. We have too much fun with that. Of course, they also have the CDF Call to Arms pack, which is $700 straight US dollars, or you can get a War Bond at $630. It's going to consist of the Retaliator, the Eclipse, and the Gladiator. Now, of course, we all know Xenothreat had a little bit of delay. It didn't come in with 316.1. It got postponed until the 3rd of February because of a glitch that was going on. And I mean, me personally, I think that that was actually a good choice because I'd rather have them work on the bugs that they were having and have it come in fully ready and capable of running properly, which I think there's still a couple of glitches going on there, but with an event this big, it's to be expected, but they haven't been necessarily game killing. We were able to get through 2 runs of it last night with little to no issues. And I know other players in our org have gotten through it numerous times. Buck, you were saying you made about 1 million AUEC on it just over the last couple days there. And I know I made a good amount on it last night. Um, I at first was skeptical though because they had talked about previously after the postmortems that they would be working at implementing a PvP aspect to it with the illegal side missions. We know that they did get those worked into Ninetales, and I was expecting them to actually have something this time around for that, but they really didn't. We're still seeing people coming in playing the PvP side, even though there's no missions or money to be made. But I will say that I was really kind of thinking this is just going to be like 314. We're going to go in, we're going to whip right through it, no issues, barely get touched, done, over, pocket a whole bunch of AUEC, and boy, was I mistaken. They pumped up the aggression on that AI quite a bit. I would say that it's definitely much more aggressive now. They are definitely going after people much harder. The AI is coming after you a great more deal, and even the Idris seems a little tougher. What's your guys' point on that?
Yes, these ships definitely seem like they're just attacking more eagerly. They evade more, so you're once they're moving around you, they're harder to hit, and not just. And of course, once it starts desyncing, then it gets even harder. But even without the desync, it seems like they pitch, weave, and wave, making it all the harder. And there's got to be at least 3 times as many of them as there was in previous, maybe
Yep.
3, 4, or 5 times as much. I mean, there's a ton.
Oh, and they just keep coming in.
Yeah, it's like I was out there with like 5 or 6 other combat ships, and it's just next target, next target, next target, next target, next target, endlessly.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And while you guys are talking, I'm gonna go ahead and fix that video thing.
Well, and I noticed, I don't remember this from before, but the actual turret on the Warden works now.
Well, it always worked, but I mean, it doesn't come stock with a great turret.
No. I mean, on the AI ships, the Xenothreat that are flying Wardens,
Oh,
I don't ever remember the turret firing at me. I noticed last night when we were playing that the turret would if you got on that side of it.
Oh yeah, it
oh
I
does.
yeah.
got smoked by one.
Oh yeah, I've been taken out a couple times by those. And it's actually kind of refreshing because I mean after the second running, we were just getting through Xenothreat with no issue whatsoever. We were just going in, get the cargo, go to the next phase, finish it out. I mean, we were just going through it as fast as could be because they weren't very aggressive off the bat. And now this time around, I mean, it really feels almost like a new experience with how much harder it is now. And I think it's definitely a very welcome change to what we were used to.
Yeah.
It makes you definitely feel like you're going to earn it a little bit more. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. You definitely can't go after the cargo on the ships without a good combat crew that's flying around screening for you.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, and they always seem to attack the cargo ships when they're flying on their way back.
Yeah, usually right around that 300 kilometer mark from Jericho when you're doing the quantum sensitive. It's right around that area. They come in, they hit you, and we lost. Well, we lost the 890. We lost the miss to them. The A2 is the one that I think we found actually has worked best for us for all around, can do cargo, it can carry plenty of people, and if you got everybody manned on a turret, that thing can't be touched. I think the A2 has turned out to be the absolute, stellar performer for us because you can just go right from cargo trading, take it right against the Idris, and be perfectly fine. And the turrets on that thing will chew up the Idris. Lori, yes, I agree. The arrows are a pain. And they do target the cargo ships, and even when like White Lightning, welcome White Lightning, says they're hitting you while you're loading your stuff at the Starfarers even now. Where I don't remember us having a huge problem with that on the previous runs. Once you were at the Starfarer, they, for the most part, maybe on a rare occasion, they would actually hit you or shoot at you, but it'd be like one. Now we're seeing 3, 4, 5 spawning up around the wrecks, and
Oh yeah.
you need a lot more fighter coverage for when you're on the cargo crew.
And when I first time I went out on this new version, I just brought my Pisces and just parked it outside, and it just exploded like within like a couple of minutes of me getting there. And I was like, okay, what happened there? So did it again, and then just getting started clearing the wreck out, and here comes a bunch of Xenothreat blowing it up. It's like, well, I guess I can't do that.
Well, you were running that Pisces for a little bit of time there for a while.
But it's quite effective as a combat with 4 size 1 gimbaled weapons. I'm enjoying using it for combat, but just parking it in front of a wreck and trying to just leave it there to throw stuff in it, it's going to explode unless there's a lot of combat ships.
Oh yeah, I mean, in the previous runs, you could just park the Pisces there, throw everything in, and get out of there real quick. And you can't do that now. But I will say this: the A2, the way we were running that last night, I can't say I've seen us in and out from a wreck that quick. With you and H3 going on board, getting the stuff prepped and clearing the Starfarer, by the time we got parked, it was just raining boxes into the back of that A2, and we were out of there in under just a couple minutes. And that worked extremely well for us. So
I'll say,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'll say the one thing that I did notice last night was that after a while, it seemed like it got really crowded out there between all of the Xeno ships and then all of the players that were going after the Xeno ships.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with the desync, I've had several very close calls with almost getting hit by. I was in a Gladius and I almost got nailed twice by somebody in a Connie, and it wasn't Buck or Beckel.
it wasn't I Bucky.
No.
I think that we've seen a couple of different ways that this is run. There's been times when this first launched into live that we got in a couple times, and there just was barely enough people to get through it. You had maybe 16, 17 people on the server. Not everybody was participating, or some may have been doing PvP, and it was really tough. You had to work hard to get that going. And then, like we were on last night, and there was just everybody was participating, and I think with so many people participating, it helped that we had such a large number on the A2, because it kept the fighting area from getting too overcrowded. Because I remember, Anril, you were saying on the first day or so of Xenothreat, we were seeing a lot of lag in some of the cloud areas, and it wasn't throughout the whole area, but certain, I think you mentioned it was the darker shaded areas that we were seeing a lot of lag.
Yep, it just seemed like there was some kind of graphical issue there with it. Not sure what was going on.
Yeah, and I know Zorth had mentioned that that was going on as well too. So let's see. So Buck, what's your experience been there as far as because I know you were in with us last night, but I don't know if you had been playing through it before that.
Yeah, I'd ran about 2 times before we actually hopped in the stream earlier that day, and we had a blast, man. Just two. I mean, even if it was just two of us, the whole server participated, and it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, Xenothreat in itself is a great time, and now with this higher level of aggression, it's definitely become more fun. And I'll even go as far as saying, because it was I think it was Sunday nights. No, it was Wednesday night stream when we were doing it, and we ended up getting into a dogfight with Acid Rom, and that, and obviously we know who Acid Rom is, but I had a great time actually doing the PvP with him, because we didn't have enough people to really successfully get through it. Plus, during that instance, it froze up, and this was on PTU. It actually froze up and stopped progressing, and we just continued on with that PvP until he bailed out because he ran out of fuel in his ship, and then we decided to jump onto another server to see if we could pick up another Xenothreat before we found out it was on every server for PTU that it froze. But even just that, I mean, that was a good time. So sometimes you can get into some decent PvP with the people that do want to play the other side. It definitely is a good challenge and experience to get. But Xenothreat is going to continue running on live. I definitely recommend everybody that has the opportunity to get in there, give it a try. Definitely, if you're in the org, get up with us. We're going to be doing it on our streams over the next couple of days, that on Sundays and Wednesdays while it's running. Of course, we know Jumptown 2 is coming back in February as well too, which I would imagine we'll see come in after Xenothreat is done. But definitely a great experience. They are giving out the CDF armor again for anybody that gets through the entire rep progression. It's no changes to the one that they gave away on the last running in 314, and anybody that already has it will not get a second set. But I know there are some people out there that do it for the rewards. I do it for the experience and just the gameplay is fun. And I know that just dipping our toes in the salt here, but we know that there's also people very upset that Xenothreat is not giving new rewards. It's not giving people that already got the last reward something else in return, that they're refusing to test it because of that fact. And that really strikes me as odd, because you play a game for the experience. And granted, yes, rewards are nice and all that, but I mean, realistically, the alpha is for testing. The alpha is to run the event to see how it operates and make sure that everything is going smooth and have a good time. If they give us rewards, great. If I don't get a reward, I'm not going to worry about it. The AUEC is definitely enough, and I think that that shouldn't be the sole focus on somebody's decision to play and test out the event, whether they're getting something for free or not. I mean, for me, it's definitely the experience. I mean, are any of you guys disappointed? And be honest, no one's going to chastise you. Uh,
Nope.
any disappointment on your guys' point when they decided to do that?
Nope.
Nah, no. I mean, having a little reward is neat and all, but I don't think I've ever worn that armor that I got from the last time. So it's like, I don't know.
I've never worn it. And as much armor as I lose, you think there'd come a time I would have to. Oh, go ahead, Buck.
Oh no, I mean, reward or no reward, man. It's all about, for me. It's all about getting in there with friends and having fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, Yeti, thank you very much. Actually, it's the Amarok Fang anti-piracy sweatshirts available on the merch store. Check that out. Link will be at the bottom of the Twitch page. Um, let's see. The black and red. So that's pretty much Xenothreat. Like I said, Jumptown's going to be coming back after that, but we also have the Red Festival going on. Of course, the Red Festival is kind of like their New Year's. It's what did we say last week? It's the year of the water monkey,
Yeah.
which I thought monkeys hated water, but it's the year of the water monkey.
Have you
It
not seen them?
I have not seen a water monkey. No. Um, Currently active. It's going to be going through the 15th of February. It's got special red paints available for the Saber and the Constellation, which I know some of you guys are. I know, Buck, you're rocking that. And I know, Anril, we're never going to break you off of your orange kick.
Never.
Oh, I fell the second I put that red on the Connie. I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I got it for the Saber, and I think I got the 2-pack that gave me the Connie, but I haven't put it on any of the ships yet. So I'm going to have to check that out on stream tomorrow night. But the Saber with the red paint you can get for 179. Constellation Taurus you can get for 201 US, and Constellation Andromeda is going to be 251, and the Aquila is going to be 321. All of those actually include that red paint. And you can buy the paint separately, though. You can get them for the Connie at $11 on the Pledge store, or the Saber for $9 on the Pledge store. But you can also get a combo pack that gives you both for 17 US dollars. They've also made available last year's Red Festival paints with the Freelancer and the Nomad as well, too. You can get that in a 2-pack for $13, or just the Freelancer for $9 and the Nomad for $7 separately, if you guys just want one of those. So nice that they brought back last year's paints, I think. I don't see, I mean, other than you, J Scout, I don't see anybody using those paints on the Freelancer or the Nomad that much.
No. Well, they disappeared for a while. I can't remember how long they were gone for, but
I mean, from
there
your
was
hangar?
yeah. There was a period when remember when they were all the ships were getting duplicated. Like everybody was getting like numerous ships
Oh,
over
yeah.
and over again. I had like 17 arrows somewhere around there. I can't remember which patch it was, but there was those paints and a couple other paints that had completely disappeared. They weren't available.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that because I remember you having the 17 arrows.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I had it
oh,
on my Saber last night when I was flying around.
what the heck? My stream deck's acting up. Stop that. Okay. So that is going to be the Red Festival. Of course, we got Coromore coming on the 17th of February here, and that's going to be the Valentine's Day. What the heck is my thing doing?
Mm.
Okay, my Stream Deck's freaking out. All right. So yes, Coromore is coming on the 17th of February, and that of course is the Valentine's Day special. And they will be running sales because we know that that's the only time of year that the Heartseeker is available. And usually there's another one or two ships that they put on sale at that time. And from what it looks like, they're going to have some specialty paints that will be available. I think in the preview we saw it was like a pink and silver or pink and white. They showed it, if I remember correctly, they showed it on the Ion and also a couple other ships. Can't remember which the other two ships that we saw the screenshots for.
The pink and the purple stuff.
Yeah.
I want to say it was on the hover quad too. So maybe the hover quad.
Oh, in the 400, was it the 400i?
I don't remember.
I know the Fortuna paint was on the 600i.
Yes.
And one other vehicle. So
I'll go look.
all right, yeah, go ahead and go look. But yes, Coromore will be coming in at the 17th. Also, starting on the 17th is going to be the Free Fly event, which is also going to bring in the referral bonus, which is going to give anybody who uses a referral code or the persons whose code they use is going to get a Artemex Lodestone armor, and that's going to be the white and gold Artemex Hurston Security style armor with the P6LR in matching color. It's about a $15 value, which is definitely a great thing to get when you can get a little freebie like that for somebody using your code. And that will go into whoever uses a code's hanger, and it'll be theirs to keep and be able to hold on to that. Of course, yes, we know everything can be lost in the verse, but you can get it back with a character reset or anytime that there's a patch update. So, but use that referral code, friends, family. You got anybody getting in the game, give them your code so you can get that free set of armor because it's a really nice set of armor for sure. So, and presently, that brings us to our org giveaways. Which is basically right now, as far as the stream and YouTube channel, we got two giveaways going on. For February, for a combined YouTube Twitch giveaway, we got the Avenger Titan Starter Pack with Squadron 42. All you got to do is follow here on Twitch or head over to YouTube and subscribe, leave a comment on any video over there. Each one will automatically enter you in for a chance to win that starter pack with Squadron 42. We'll award that on March 1st. And also for Twitch exclusive, open to every follower and subscriber on Twitch, I will actually be giving away my Gigabyte OC Vision RTX 3070 since I upgraded. My old card, which is only about 6 months old, I will be giving away to one of our Twitch viewers. So to get entered into that, either follow or subscribe. Either one will get you entered in. And we'll pick a winner for that on March 1st as well. And then I will send that graphics card out to one of you guys. Just my way of saying thanks for viewing and supporting us. And definitely rather see it go to one of you guys than try to sell it or anything, because I know how tough it can be to find components out there right now. And I like giving away stuff, so not a bad thing. And only one person's actually blocked. Well, let me rephrase that. Only people that will not be eligible for that giveaway is anybody that has won a monthly giveaway in the last 90 days and Crywo. Crywo is not allowed to win because he's the co-founder of the org. So Crywo is blocked out from winning. He still gives me crap about that. But nope, he can't win. All right, so that brings us to, the salt. And this is where we're going to just kind of back that top off the salt shaker and just dump it all out on the table. Again, send any hate mail to me at darkhourexperience at gmail.com. Also, you can send questions that you want to have answered here on the show to that email as well, too, or hit me up on the Twitter or the Instagram or Discord or here on Twitch. But brings us to the roadmap roundup. So, yeah. This is, well, this is like one of those things that I can't say I'm as shocked as I probably should be, but I've kind of gotten used to seeing this. It really is the ongoing controversy of this month. I'm sure it will change. We went from the 400 or the Ion, now we've gone on to the roadmap Roundup. Yeah, I know. Crywo kept stealing my beer last night. So the roadmap Roundup, it came out on Wednesday, and I mean, realistically, the roadmap Roundup came out with a fairly, I don't want to say harsh letter. Let me see if I can find the right one here. Yeah, that's the one I want. Launch that one. So, yep, with the roadmap roundup, they actually came out with a little bit of a letter to start it all off, explaining their reasons for. Oh, of course, that didn't line up, did it? Reasons for what they are doing with the roadmap. Now, if everybody remembers back in 2020 in December, I think it was around December 15th, they came out with a change to the roadmap after they did the roadmap to the roadmap. They highly stressed that the changes were to direct everybody over to focusing on the progress side. That's why it's the first one that's there when it pops up, and not be so focused on the release view. They would limit the release view to only the current quarter, and no more than one quarter out, and try to alleviate some of the disappointment issues while being transparent about what was actually being worked on. A year later now, I think some people kind of took it to heart what they said, and some people misunderstood it. But the current roadmap pretty much discusses the goal from the change in the roadmap in 2020, and it was to show the fluidity of game development. And I'm not in game development, I'm not a software encoder or anything like that, but the little bit I do know is game development is not black and white. It can change on a dime, it can change at a moment's notice unexpectedly. Anything can happen, and so many different components of game development is intertwined with each other that if one thing is even off by a little bit, it can throw off everything else. So, with that, pretty much that's the point they were trying to get out there for people to understand that. And back in 2020, they came straight out and they said there are no promises. They are not going to promise dates. They're not going to promise this will definitely be out at this time. Anything can change at any point. What if you look at the roadmap letter that they started with this week and compare it to the letter they put out in December of last year? It's saying the same exact identical thing. And when they came out with this roadmap restating that, and I'll be the first to say they horribly worded this. It definitely, I mean, it even got as far as like PC Magazine did an article on it. Other sources out there are talking about this. It comes off very harsh. It comes off a little bit people kind, yeah, Pratchett, I would say that it could approach the unprofessional side. I think that they didn't really choose very diplomatic wording on it. It could have definitely been worded much better, and it could have been addressed similar to the way that they addressed it last year. But I can also understand the frustration they have that everything they do, and it seems like in at least the last 6 months or more, everything they do, no matter what they do, somebody is blasting them hardcore, whether it be in Spectrum or somewhere else out in the industry or things like that. And it's one of those situations where they can't they can't make 100% of the people happy 100% of the time. And the people that are unhappy just turn around and just start going at them like tooth and nail through the Spectrum boards and all that. And it's a no-win situation for them. And I can understand how the frustration of that can get to you. But I think that definitely, as far as how this is worded, could have been much, much better. But if you look at the basis of it, what they're saying is the same thing they said then. And that's focus on the progress tracker. Don't take anything on the release the release view as set in stone. Nothing is set in stone until it is committed and in live. Um, and that's the important thing to remember is that if we look at some of the things like we saw this week, persistent streaming, that's tied into so many different aspects of the game that a delay in persistent streaming is naturally going to delay everything else that's dependent on it. So, and me personally, I didn't take offense to it because again, I looked at, what they said a year ago, and I think they're saying the same thing. So, and pretty much I just took like 15 lines of notes and kind of summed it up in a little bit shorter stance there. But I mean, really, the point is that things haven't changed. It's just I think some people might have lost sight that nothing is set in stone, as nothing is a promise. So getting into that, JScale, I'll let you take what was changed, and then
What was
we'll talk amongst ourselves about your guys' view.
okay? So the big change, in case people didn't hear, they're no longer going to run the release view out several patches. They're only going to focus on the patch that they're working on right now. So right now, with your world, they're only going to pay attention or focus on 317, and then once 317 is done, they're going to focus on 318. We're not going to see 318, 319, 320, or whatever the next numbers are if they change to 4 or whatever until they get there.
Right, but
Um,
if you look at also that message back in December, they even said back then it's only going to go out one patch cycle.
yeah, and it's
I think they got away from that.
Yeah, but there was a message there too, and I can't remember where it was, but where they were talking about trying to provide more transparency, more view
Yeah,
into what's going on, what's coming, and whatnot, and that's
yeah,
when they were launching the release view.
yeah.
Um, but here we go. So a bunch of stuff was removed from the release view. It's a number of things. It's a bit disappointing. The biggest thing is that persistence is lagging behind because persistent hangers was one of the things impacted by it, um, which I found a little bit disappointing. But such is life. Move on. Planar interaction experience was removed for reevaluation. FPS radar and scanning removed for reevaluation. Hacking tech removed for reevaluation. EVA T2 removed for reevaluation. Zero G push and pull. Persistent hanger, as I just said, due to put out other features at risk. I thought it was at risk, but whatever. Hanger Manager app was removed. The Miscall C is removed again for further polishing. NPC Taxi Mission T0 was removed for further polish. And Pirate Swarm, Vandal Swarm improvements removed for further polish. The one thing they added, which there's already memes about, is the coffee shop vendor. Area 18 is getting a new interactable coffee shop in 317. Progress tracker. They added the Argo SRV. They'll track the tow truck
Yep.
ship, which I'm excited about. Gray Cat Industrial's Sidnus mining droid is on the progress tracker, but it's for Squadron 42, not the PU. Hospital surgeon. You gonna say something?
No, somebody's saying I'm playing music. Where's the music coming from?
Not me.
There should be no music.
Yeah, you definitely have background music.
Oh, is it from you playing last night? It's the.
Hang on, let me check here. No, it's not that. Where the hell?
That's definitely coming through.
Nope, it's not the Twitch. Where the heck is that music coming from?
You have another tab open?
Come on, mute. Okay, what the heck is going on here? Okay, what the heck is going on here?
It's gone now.
No,
It
it's still
stopped.
playing through. Well, I turned the head. I think I disconnected the head. What the heck is that? Oh, because I turned off the audio source.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that causes
I
me.
definitely got Ghost in the Machine somewhere. Okay,
Yeah.
that was really strange because I have my Twitch up watching my own stream, but as soon as I shut that down, the music went away, but I'm only watching my own stream, so I'm not sure what was causing that. That is freaking odd. What
Hmm.
the heck was that?
Don't know.
All right, I'm gonna have an exorcism over my computer tomorrow. Thank you for letting me know about that. I appreciate it. It started
Alrighty.
again.
Did it?
Yeah. Oh, it's my intro music. Why was it playing my intro music? All right. Hopefully, I apologize about that. Yeah, I know. I saw the Matrix thing pop up on Star Citizen Live. I think everybody's computers are getting possessed here.
Oh, he was
It's
messing around. He made a little thing where he was introducing I forgot the guy's name now.
oh God.
Exactly. That guy.
Alistair.
Yeah. He made a little thing. He sent it on Twitch, a little video clip. It was pretty funny with that whole Matrix background.
So
All
yeah,
right.
I apologize about that, everybody.
We'll blame Yeti. Military multi-tool has been added to the progress tracker. I think that's also Squadron 42. AI arcade machine and AI usable system V2. Those are both, I believe, for NPCs. So we don't get to play Pac-Man or
Oh,
whatever.
I was
Go ahead.
I was hoping for Galaga.
Well, I think once they get it working for the NPCs, then we can lobby for them to get it, working for us. Uh, Modular shaders, server streaming, GGS crash recovery, long-term persistence, which is the big thing that we is pushing out a bunch of these other things. Wheeled vehicle physics improvements. Hopefully, they do something cool like they did for Gravlev.
Mm-hmm.
Reputation V2, uh, Look IK architecture refactor, Bounty Hunter V2 previously removed is back. And one thing removed is persistent habs because of persistence.
Yep. Yeah. Again, it's one of those things that's that persistent streaming is going to play a big part in a number of different things that are going to actually be delayed. And I can definitely understand that, even if people are upset about it. Oh, you know what was causing the music? It was the stupid Stream Deck. All right, so at
Got
least
its
I found the
revenge.
yeah, because it doesn't open any windows. It just plays it through the Stream Deck. Hey, at least I know it's copyright free, so I don't have to worry about getting a copyright claim. All right, so yes, so this actually was one thing I knew we were probably going to end up talking about tonight because of all the different uh things that and Jay Scale, I know you've gone on Spectrum. Anril, I know you have, and I can't imagine Buck hasn't seen anything that's been out there on Spectrum about the disappointment in this. And kind of like what I was saying before, I understand and I get bummed out. I do get bummed out by things getting delayed because I look forward to these different systems and look forward to the different things that are coming down the line. um I know people personally that I'm friends with in real life that get very heated about it. I don't get that heated about it because I think for me, I know it's going to be coming at some point, and in my mind, they're doing it because they feel it's the right decision to be made than to push something out that's going to be crap and have to fix it later to put it in the best condition it can be to be out there and be enjoyed. And I'd rather wait for it and have it be in a good state than have it show up and absolutely hate it and want to walk away from the game. I think that mentality kind of keeps me from getting too overly bummed about it, but I do get bummed about it. But the spectrum just went through the roof. And I think we've all seen that. I saw people actually recommending that CIG shut down the PU for a year to get their stuff together, which kind of is illogical because, well, the PU is where we test everything, PTU is where we test before testing, And then if you shut down the PU for a year, who's going to do the testing? And on top of that, we're going to have nothing. So what is the point in recommending that they shut down the PU for a year to get their stuff together? And granted, it was just a couple of people that were saying this, but it's like they're angry to the point where if they can't have what they want, then nobody should have anything, and that's just asinine to me.
I think a little bit of it is people are their expectations are misaligned. They're trying to play an alpha that's under active development and expecting it to be a polished game. I saw a separate thread today on Spectrum where they were taking shots at the vehicle experience team because they thought that back in July they said that they were going to do a complete rebalance of weapons and components.
Hmm.
Um, and Yogi Klatt responded, and it was a good response, but there was a lot of nonsense in that, just that one thread.
Yeah, and I think to some degree, and I won't say it applies to everybody, but I think Yeti's got a, a logical point in the fact that there is a sense of entitlement that some people have. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Some people are just very emotional about the game, very passionate about it, and sometimes that gets the best of them. But usually those people will calm down and they'll move on, and they'll grasp an understanding of why. But much like what we saw with the Ion, I mean, it continued all the way up to this roadmap situation, just every post getting blasted with Ion, complaints and everything. There's just some people that are going to drag it out for as long as they possibly can. Um, I don't know what you guys have seen, Anril or Buck, as far as like any of the Spectrum stuff there, but I mean they're really going to town on this.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one way of putting it. Because
What about you,
Yeah.
Buck?
I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it on Spectrum. I've seen it elsewhere as well. I mean, it's just all over the place.
Yeah, and and like I said, I will be the first to admit they really did a poor job of wording this. And Pratchett made a good point in the chat that yes, they get frustrated and all that, but it's unprofessional to put your frustration out to the public. And I do agree with that. I think they, like I said, they approached it the wrong way. They worded it poorly, and I think they drew a little bit of fire from that as well too. But again, I don't blame them for being frustrated, but keep that behind the doors and keep the cordial statements and the necessary statements that you need to make without being to a point. And again, I didn't personally take it as insulting, but I know a lot of people that did. So, I mean, to the point that there's actually even some content creators out there that I've heard rumors that are boycotting CIG and Star Citizen now, going to reduce their content, going to reduce the coverage and all that because they're upset about this. Which I don't make sense of that. I mean, obviously, I focus strictly on Star Citizen, but I know a lot of content creators actually have a wide range of different games that they actually cover. So they have other things to fall back on. Um, right. Angry. Assassination is basically an illegal bounty.
Huh?
Oh, he's talking about somebody else that disagreed on assassination being an illegal bounty. But I think Sig could have definitely handled it better. I think if they had taken a breath and just reworded things, it may have gone smoother. But I don't think there's anything they could have done to avoid some type of backlash. So, I mean, the key thing to remember with the roadmap is that it is what it is. Excuse me. It is what it is. It's a goal, what they're trying to achieve, and all that. But again, with development, it's not so cut and dry. I mean, you could have a thing a day away from launching and find a problem that will keep you from launching it, and you have to delay it. And even in my own job, working in hospitals, there's times that we bring technology in, and there's so many different IS and IT departments that are involved with the implementation of the new technology, that my team may be responsible for, deployment or, setup or configuration or something like that. But if somebody handling the servers runs into an issue that's going to introduce a delay, then there's the network team after them, my team after them, and another team after them that all has to postpone their work because of something that couldn't have been predicted. So I think people just need to try to be a little bit more understanding. So anybody else got anything to throw in about the roadmap? Pratchett, I mean, we are technically part of the development process. Um, we are the testers. It's not, and this is my personal opinion. When I say I'm part of the developmental process, I'm part of, like, what H3 said, QA. So I test what they put out. We test what they implement. Obviously, Chris Roberts has his game. It's his game. It's CIG's game. They're going to build the game that they want to build with the features that they want to um, have in that game. Now, yes, they do have resources for us to be able to put in our input and our recommendations, but at the end of the day, it is SIG's game, and we are testers of that game, kind of like H3 said, a QA team. Much like what we saw with the graphics video, people have been asking about night vision, night vision, night vision, and talking with Alistair in the video from there, he fully admitted it's not up to him whether it goes into the game. It's not anything that's been brought to them to start looking into yet. Nobody's looking at that as a possibility, that that's going to be handled by somebody else. And if they decide they don't want to put night vision in, then they're not going to put night vision in. Just because we want night vision doesn't mean that we have the ability to force them to do it. Ultimately, it's their game, their choice, what they want in it. So, and I can understand your frustration with that, Pratchett.
And of course, whether or not the game actually sells is still up to us to determine whether or not we actually buy the game. But they're doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, I mean, they are doing well, and obviously, overall sales after the game releases is going to be the big telltale sign. I mean, I will say this for it. I mean, in the condition that it's in today, I mean, it's got more gameplay, more replay value than most, pretty much any AAA game that's already been released. So I can't say I'm disappointed at all with, what we have to play right now. And I look forward to everything that comes out in the future. But I think, I mean, personally, I think they need a little bit of understanding, and I think that that's what a section of the community. And again, I'm not lumping everybody into the same group. I think that's what a section of the community needs to try to, you know, get, is a little bit more understanding. I mean, it doesn't make them bad people. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I have mine, you have yours. And some people are going to be more upset about something than others, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to help get this to the point that we all want to see it reach, which is release. So, all right. Anything else you guys want to throw in on that one?
Nah.
I need a cricket sound effect, I think.
I don't know if there's much more that can be said on the subject, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to continue seeing Spectrum posts for days to come, if not weeks, on it. So stand by on that one. All right, so we'll move on to Inside Star Citizen here. And with Inside Star Citizen, we saw a couple of different things here. We got to see the ship-to-ship refueling, as well as some other information. And with the ship-to-ship refueling, I'll let you go ahead and take that, Jay Skell, and go ahead and take over.
Alrighty. Ship-to-ship refueling is going to be the first player trade system for Star Citizen, releasing in Alpha 3.17, which I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited about it. Right now, all ships can harvest fuel from empty space with their fuel scoops. To be refueled, players must ask in chat for a Starfarer to come refuel them. Quantum beacons will be added in a future update. Starfarer fills up, uh, basically gets fuel from a station just like everybody else does. But instead of filling it, they're going to change the interface so that instead of filling, just blanket filling your ship up, you can now send it. You can choose like a manual option. You can send it to which tank you want it to go to on the 6 fuel pods on the back. Choosing hydrogen or quantum fuel, whichever one you will put in the tank. Pilot of the Starfarer can set prices for each unit of fuel. After the empty ship docks with the Starfarer, the pilot pays for each unit of fuel as it is transferred. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but in there, basically, they set up the price and it pays as it transfers. So only whatever goes into your ship is what comes out of your account directly. So there's no chance of you as a Starfarer pilot being stiffed or
Yeah.
somebody paying and then not getting any fuel. Um, refueling the refueling Starfarer adjusts the flow rate and selects the filling tank with the risk of spilling excess fuel into space. Basically, they were describing it as you can speed up the fuel rate, but if you send 2,000 units at a fuel tank that can only take 500, 1,500 of that's going to go out into space, and you're going to be out that money.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I
do you-
thought that was interesting that they went that route, because you would think the simpler thing would just be hit a button, it feels it just like it does on a pad, but you're gonna have to actually manage the control of that nozzle.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, There was a Spectrum post about it, and the devs were kind enough to answer questions. So there's a collection of questions and answers that go with the Starfarer refueling that I'm going to cover. I'll skip over the Piper Quad.
Yeah.
Is the fueling interface available to the co-pilot, or is it a separate terminal? It will be a separate terminal on the back side of the cockpit. It does not need to be operated by the pilot, so you can have a refueler. Will
Okay,
the flight
so it's not on the catwalk.
Yeah, and that's what I thought at first, but yeah, apparently it's in the cockpit. Um, I wonder if you can access it from the catwalk though.
I thought that's what the video was showing.
It did show somebody standing out there, but that's what the guy said in response to the question. Will the flight model be reworked to accommodate the effect of having all that fuel on board? Because I remember when they first talked about this, they said that it will, but it's not going to be in the first iteration. They still need more work from other teams to make that happen, but it is coming. So the Starfarer will get more sluggish because it already flies like a dream. Um,
Yeah.
can the Starfarer refuel itself from the fuel pods? It's planned, but it won't be able to do it this iteration. So it will be able to, but not right now. Can the Starfarer be refueled by another Starfarer? The answer is yes. Can all ships be refueled or just the Gladius? All ships that players have access to will be able to refuel at the Starfarer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I'm now looking for fuel ports on these ships. The video shows the Gladius docked headfirst. Is this temporary since the fuel port is on the back? There is also a fuel port on the top behind the cockpit. You just have to look for it, according to the answer.
Yep.
I don't remember seeing one, but anyway. Will CIG remove repair and refuel at outposts and stations? No, you'll still be able to get refuel, restock, repair at outposts and stations. During ISC, it seemed like the ships being refueled docked and then powered down. Is this correct? Yes, for the first iteration, we will not have a tension mechanic in place yet, but we planned something similar to air-to-air refueling for jets. More
Yep.
details to follow. If a ship is out of hydrogen, can the Starfarer reverse dock? No, this is not the case. Right now, you'll get access to magical reserve fuel when the Starfarer is close. This is more of a temp solution. They're still trying to figure out how to solve in the future. And then you will be able to set the price to 0 if you want to refuel friends, orgs, or just give it away for free.
Yeah, because you're going to set your price to whatever you want, so
Yep.
you can charge them 1 AUEC for all they care. So it's going to be completely up to you. You can either, you know, gouge it, or you can be somewhat friendly with it. On the chat there, the question was asked: are they still talking about a variant for refinery? Last I heard, they were still talking about a Starfarer refinery variant.
Yep.
If it's going to be modular, we probably won't see that until modularity comes in, which we know is still a little times away, because that's going to be dependent on server meshing. and persistence. So that is going to take a little time before we probably see that if they're going the modular route. If they go a whole separate ship, then who knows? Yet he wants the Starfarer to just fly how it is. It already flies sluggish. And yeah, Horse and Bacon, I think the interior does need a little bit of a rework. It would be nice just to have that. It's kind of, well, I mean, it's a refueling ship, so it's going to be dark and dingy inside. Um, yeah, it was the first big shipping game, and it probably is due for a little bit of a pass to get it up to standards and all that. So,
Oh,
um,
there's a lot of ships like that though too, right?
oh yeah, I mean we already know they're talking about the 600i. We already know that there's a lot of those older ships. The When modularity comes in, the Retaliator is going to get touched up and everything. So I they have a cycle for that, and we'll see it as they come across them.
Yep.
On the hover quad, obviously we've all seen the hover quad. I think everybody's had an opportunity who's gotten into the PTU to use it. And let's see here. I'm going to back this video up a little bit here to the hover quad portion. And I really like the hover quad. As far as the hover quad goes, we have not seen that in the pledge store yet. Uh, and I don't know how serious the person that sent me the information was. They said that they saw it in there for a brief moment. We know the CDF and the Xenothreat stuff accidentally got put into the ship store in the pledge store when it wasn't intended to, and got pulled out, I think, within 20 minutes. Somebody said that they did see the hover quad in there for a short time. They were telling me the price was set at $80 for it, but I have a hard time believing that. Because this is a vehicle that's built as a companionship to the Nomad, and the Nomad costs $80. So I take that with a grain of salt, and I would have to say that they're either trying to pull a fast one on me, or they're just completely wrong, or they could be right. It's something we're going to have to wait and see. I'm still hoping that we're going to see it between that maybe somewhere between that $35 to $50 price range. I think would be the best spot for it. It's a great little bike, and much like what they talked about in the Insight Star Citizen, was kind of like what I mentioned in my review of the bike on YouTube, that it does give you more stability, it gives you more control, more stability, better handling, faster speed. It's actually a great little bike to drive around. I think the big things that are missing off of it, of course, are the shield and the guns that you see on things like the Dragonfly or the Nox and things like that. But its whole HP is through the roof compared to the other two. So what you lose in shields, you make up a little bit on the whole HP. It's got 3,500 whole HP compared to I think about 1,800 on the Nox, and 2,000 on, or just over 2,000 on the Dragonfly. And it can definitely take a lot of hits. I think I'm, if the price is not, if they don't pull a Drake Cutlass Steel on the hover quad, I'll definitely be picking one up. But we also know these things are so cheap in game and so easy to get. It's definitely a great purchase for anybody that uses the hover bikes and things in game. Grab it there. But I'm a little nervous because we saw what they did with the Drake Cutlass Black Steel, and that made no sense to me, and it's more than double the cost of the Cutlass Black, which is what it is. And hopefully that doesn't carry over into this, and we'll see this priced reasonably for everybody to get their hands on. Of course, at the end of Star Citizen Live, Jared admitted he has no information on it. He doesn't know when it's going to get put into the store. We only know that it's going to be sometime during February. My idea is that we'll probably see it after they get through the first initial wave of people buying stuff for Gear Up for Xenothreat. Maybe they postponed it to not have a conflicting sale with the Xenothreat sale, as well as the Red Festival sale. We don't know. So we'll have to just wait until it gets in there, and we should see it before the 28th. And be interesting to see what the pricing is going to be. So
I I didn't pay attention. Does it seat just one person, or
Only
can
one
you?
person.
Okay.
It only seats one person. To my knowledge, it's the only bike that has a built-in storage compartment. It holds 125 micro SCU. Um, its top speed way outperforms the Apoanox or the Dragonfly. Of course, we can't really compare it to the X1 because the X1's not in game. And right now, the X1 is the highest cost pledge for a hover bike at 65. Um, and I definitely don't see this in its configuration that it has now being worth more than the Apoanox even. And that's at I think that $50 or $55 price range.
Yeah.
So I don't see this being worth more than even the Dragonfly. You get great, drivability and control and all that stuff, but you're missing out on the guns, the shields. It's solely built for one thing, and that was to transport you around. It's not meant for fighting or anything like that. So I think it's going to be a great vehicle come the Daymar Rally next year. I mean, this thing is just going to fly through the course.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun to drive.
Oh yeah, it is. Especially when you bounce off a 400i and explode.
Yes.
Or, go head first into the wall inside an A2, should I say. So yeah, that's the information that we have on the hover quad, which is actually going to bring us to the Star Citizen Live. Or actually, Anril and Buck, you guys got both to test the hover quad, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I was there with you when you smashed it into the interior of the A2.
Yep, that's right.
No, I didn't get into the PTU for that this time.
Oh, yeah, I know we don't use the bikes often, but that is definitely one that would make me use them more often. It is a fun little bike, and like what they point out on the video with the 4 pads, it helps you go over the terrain and the boulders easier than it does in the Dragonfly or the Nox. So it'll definitely be a fun one to get in game. All right, so that brings us to Star Citizen Live, and I'm gonna let you take this one because I am not a graphics person.
Well, I think it was a good video. The guy volunteered to do it. He actually asked Jared if he could go, and Jared apparently has to go chase devs to do Star Citizen lives.
Yeah, and this guy
Um,
came to him right after CitizenCon.
yeah, because of all the questions, and he wanted to do some follow up stuff for the CitizenCon. I felt it was very educational. I felt like he was explaining things really well. He's talking about the Gen 12 renderer kind of leading the Vulkan engine in development and whatnot. The Vulkan can't get ahead of the renderer basically.
Yeah,
So as they port things over to the Gen 12 renderer, they then have to play catch up with the Vulkan backside, and it was I don't know, it was a good conversation. There were a couple of spots there where it got kind of technical, but you know. He said they're about 75% complete with their porting everything over and getting things set up. Um, trying to there was a ton in here, and I'm trying to not bore everybody and put everybody to sleep with it. We see the features that are being worked on in Gen 12 pretty much every patch. We
hmm
just don't know that they're there. So they keep moving pieces and parts over. Um, there were questions around CPU parallelization, uh, moving CPU. What was I going to say? Basically, moving things off the CPU and back, and basically pushing them onto the GPU. That's apparently one of the goals. They're trying to get things more off there, but the question came back with, will this free up the CPU? Will I no longer have high CPU utilization? And the answer is basically once they move stuff onto the GPU and stop processing graphics on the CPU side, that doesn't mean that other gaming system or other systems in the game won't come in and crank the CPU back up.
yeah, because they mentioned when they move some things over to the GPU, then all they're going to do is turn around and pile more on top of the CPU after that, and they're just going to keep introducing more and more stuff to it.
Yeah. And they just, reiterated several times, including Jared, that it's a never-ending challenge because it's a iterative process, and they just keep moving from one thing to the next. And as developers and designers really come up with new ways to create new features for us to play with. It requires more resources, etc.
Yeah.
Um, there was questions around mesh shaders. He gave a pretty good explanation around mesh shaders, I thought, simply saying that they have their place. They're very powerful in certain instances, but not all instances that it would be used in Star Citizen. So they're looking at it. They'd love to do more with it, but it's one of those things where um, the technology is great, but they don't have a lot of practical use for it the in Star Citizen yet, because the only thing that'll benefit from it are the higher end computers right now,
Hmm.
and the higher end, the high power GPUs really won't need it. So
Yeah.
he gave some examples of how it would be used or why you would use it, but I'm not going into all that now.
Yeah.
Um, there was a question around any internal testing of Linux with the Gen 12 renderer. And basically, his team does not really run Linux. Their focus is Windows. However, there are people inside CIG that do play regularly on Linux, and their graphics performance tends to be, if I heard him correctly, tends to be a little bit better than the Windows experience, and it should only just get better with Gen 12.
Yeah.
So, um, let's see. Ongoing concern with the dev cycle being so long. How is ever-changing graphics tech being dealt with and keeping up to date? Um, basically, I think this question was this the question that was pushing? Oh yeah, the next question. Will graphics for Star Citizen get outdated? Basically, with them building their own in-house engine for graphics processing, there were a couple questions around will it be overtaken by things like Unreal Engine, and I forgot the other one that he was talking about. But
Yeah.
anyway, there were basically he said it won't, simply because it's an engine, and the engine is made up of several subsystems, and they're constantly tweaking and modifying and updating each piece and part of the engine. So the risk of it just becoming, come to a place where they can't do any more with it, um, is not really a thing that he's concerned about right now.
Yeah, it doesn't really have an end of life cycle because they're constantly altering it and rebuilding it.
Yeah,
And to the point at which Jared even made the comparison. I can't remember what he said. Ship of something. Is it still the same thing you started with? Because everything's
yeah,
been replaced at this point.
yeah,
And I found that definitely interesting because he also mentioned that it's not really that different from any other studio that they all do this process.
yep.
But yeah, I definitely found that part interesting.
Yeah, he had. I mean, if you're into graphics, I recommend watching it because he does go into a kind of a little bit of analysis of the Unreal Engine, and he admits that there are some impressive parts to it, but the Vulkan and the Gen 12 work that they're doing now rivals it. Not in every way. Some of the stuff that Unreal Engine is doing, does it better than what they're doing right now. But they're also in a place where they're still working and the bugs out and getting things, up to speed. So they're in a place to catch up in those areas. But he made it sound like they were already ahead in other areas.
Yeah, because
Um,
he was comparing directly to Unreal Engine 5, if I remember correctly.
yeah, because that was the question. Because I know, as Jared called it, Unreal Engine 5 is the new hotness.
Yeah, and I mean it's brand new, and like you said, he talked about it for a good amount of time. So
Yeah,
definitely, if you're into an H3, this is right down your alley. So if you haven't watched it yet, I definitely recommend you watch it. A lot of
yeah.
it went over my head because I'm not a graphics extraordinaire.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much same here. It's like this is very fascinating. I know some of these words.
He
well,
said
and
GPU. I know that one.
well, and they like I'm not doing it justice because Dark Hour and I just said that at the beginning that we were going to put down some notes, but we weren't going to into this just because it's not really an area that either one of us are super strong. But I found it very fascinating. There are questions coming like, are you moving to DirectX 12? Are you just abandoning DirectX 12? And basically the response was it was weird at first because Gen 12. Um, he explained how they came up with the name Gen 12, and
Yeah, I
DirectX
thought
12 was
that
the
was
big thing.
interesting.
And basically,
They just
they
called it
needed a
12.
yeah, they needed a way to identify this generation renderer, so that if they come up with the next generation, they're not going, here's the new one, and here's the new one, and the new one. So they just chose 12 because 12 was,
What DirectX
that's
was
what
on.
exactly.
And
Um,
from listening to that, and when they were talking about DirectX and he was talking about it, it almost sounded like he was saying that, if they feel to have the need to, they can move to DirectX if they really need to fairly quickly. Um,
yeah, but he was
and
also saying that he wasn't going to go there.
yeah,
But hey, it was good stuff.
yeah, I mean, it was definitely, I mean, this stuff goes way in deep. It was about an hour and 15 minutes long. H3 said he already saw it, and he says he's very comfortable with what he was saying. H3, I would probably say, is definitely our graphics expert on in the org. Um, but definitely, if you're into that graphics design and the graphics details, definitely check this out. It's an hour and 15 minutes long, and there was a lot in there that I didn't fully understand. There were some things I did pick up on, and a lot that I didn't. But it even not knowing what they were exactly the in-depth details that they were talking about, it was still very interesting. With a lot of the different things that they looked at. Of course, at the end, they addressed kind of like a speed round of things,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting. And there was actually, and I'm just jumping ahead. We'll kick it back over to J Scale here in just a second. They talked about DLSS and RTX with the ray tracing, so there was definitely some great information on their view on those, as well as that's where they talked about the night vision and such. Uh, so there is some other information in that other than just the in depth, Gen 12 and Vulcan conversation. But I'll kick it back over to you, J Scale, so I don't jump too far ahead.
Well, I mean, H3 put it in chat. One of the things that did come up, and one of the things he did address, they started out with somebody else's engine, and now they're completely on their own engine, and
Yeah,
they know every nook and cranny of the code, so they can keep up on it. But
yeah,
my thing is, people quit, people move on. How much of that knowledge is shared? Anyway, worries for another time.
yeah.
They rolled into well, as Dark Hour was saying, DirectX 12 anti-alias temporal anti-aliasing. I thought that was very cool. How he talked about all that stuff. I'm not going into it. You can go watch the video if you really want to know more about it. Let's see. They talked about window. Somebody asked about windowed borderless mode. When is that coming?
Oh, on
And
Windows 11.
well, no, what they were referring to was if you've got multiple monitors,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you've got three 4K monitors, rendering it at 4K on every monitor. He made a joke about it being 12K and kind of killing your system. So you can run it borderless right now on a single monitor, but you can't stretch that out onto other monitors.
Right.
So anyway, that's one of the things they're looking at. They're also looking at eventually revealing more controls for folks that really want to tweak their video settings. That's another thing that they're aware of. It's on their roadmap. Um, I love the question about night vision. Um, there was a interesting discussion around it, and basically he called it out that most game companies up until was it Call of Duty?
Modern Warfare, he talked about,
Mo-
was the one doing it right with color differentiation.
Yeah, because most he said just basically put a green filter on everything
Yeah.
and call it good. So anyway, it was good. There was a question around cloud tech and why we see noise when we're looking at like horizontally.
Mm-hmm.
And so he described it basically as when you're looking at a cloud, you draw a straight line from the point of view to the horizon, and then you sample across that, and then using maths, you figure out the cloud density along that line.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're standing on the ground looking up at space, or you're in space looking at the ground, the line is longer and the cloud cover would be even thicker, or potentially there's more clouds between you and the distance,
Yep.
in the vertical space. It was interesting. What was the other thing that he said? There was one other thing that I saw in the notes that I was going to mention,
The
but
the thing that I found interesting they talked about was the mirrors and reflective
yes,
surfaces. Now
Got that
this
one.
actually, I was always under the impression that doing a mirror, it's just simple, reverse the image of the character. You don't have to worry about too much anything else. But there's actually a lot more that goes into mirroring and reflective surfaces in the game because, as he was mentioning, it jacks your rendering through the roof because the system has to be able to process everything that would actually be back behind the character into that smaller or larger area of where the reflective surface is. And it may not necessarily double it, but it would increase it by upwards of 50% for something that's just like a handheld mirror, and make it, and would slow down the progress of your game drastically by doing something like that. And they have to find the right way to do it and the best way to do it so that it doesn't make the performance of the game itself suffer. And he went into, and for something such as mirroring and reflective surfaces, I mean, he really went into a little bit more depth into this as to some of the issues that they ran into with it, as well as why is it so difficult. Because remember, what was it, probably 7 8 months ago, we were supposed to get mirrors in the game where we'd be able to see our reflection, and it was there for like a day and then it went away. And now I understand better why. It's because it actually is a much larger taxing resource on the game than what you would think, just being something as simple as looking in a bathroom mirror.
Yeah, and that was the one where they're asking if ray tracing would solve that, and
Yeah.
he explained why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
He also stated that they're getting more and more requests from different groups at CIG to implement something for mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that he's getting asked for internally.
Yeah.
They also asked about snow and sand, and whether or not we'd ever see snow that was actually like snow and not like a sand, like a dust storm.
Yeah.
Uh, that's coming. What else was the other thing? The HUD visibility. You know, we all complain about the ability of not being able to see what's on our HUD when we're flying over Microtech or any of the other bright moons. Um, and then he said that for him, he was asked like, what was his vision like? When would he think that what is the one thing that he really wants to get done with all this stuff? And he said he wants to get the frame rate to 60. That was
Mm-hmm.
his magic number, and then he'd look into something else.
Yep.
Uh, and then the other thing that he said was the farthest thing that or the biggest thing that they need to work on right now is the global lighting. Apparently, that's lagging behind pretty much all the other aspects of the renderer and the graphics engine, and it's another thing that the other groups in CIG are pushing him on, him and his team on, because they want to do some cool stuff. So
Yeah. And they also touched briefly on the HUD and the visibility on planets like Ariel or uh, Yella and all that. When you're flying in, the HUD and the background color are very similar or very bright. The ability to see it. They've got some ideas that they were throwing around and are presenting to the UI team and things like that. So it is, as he put it, a very well known issue that they are working on. And he talked about the use of drop shadows and some other techniques that they may look at to make that more visible for people to be able to see their HUDs better when they're flying in on a bright surface, or a planet that's got a very light colored ground surface or something like that. So, and I think we've all can say we've had that problem numerous times, trying to see your ship's HUD and all that when trying to go into those areas.
yep,
So, but definitely quite a lot of information in that hour and 15 minutes. Definitely check it out. You can get it on the RSI page as well as the Inside Star Citizen, and very large amount of information in that 1 hour talk. But check that out, and definitely very, very in depth conversation with that. So, which also brings us to the PU monthly report, and we actually just went over the December and November one just a couple weeks ago, and they've already got the January one out. Of course, this goes over all of the stuff that we saw in last month, what they worked on, what's been getting some progress and everything. Um, and much like many of the previous monthly reports, it goes through the different components of what they've worked on and all that. What we'll probably do here is we will touch base on some of these. because definitely want to get to a little time with Anril and Buck here on what they've been seeing and all that. But definitely they went over the AI content, completing the speed protocol pass on the arcade and vending machines, which we talked about with the roadmap update. Moved into the implementation and polish phases for that. The AI tech is looking at the implementation and testing of planetary navigation. Actually, they talked about that in last month's PU report as well too. And
It's
in
been it's been in a few actually.
yeah,
They've been it's something they've continued to work on
Ye-
steadily.
Yeah, and actually, with the monthly reports, you'll see that a lot of these things will repeat. Actually, AI tech is all this pretty much the same as last month's as well too, with the planetary navigation, the NPC spaceships to land at random planetary locations, and tasks to improve NPC states. Animation on the bartenders, patrons, and vendor behavior is the same as last month. Facial animations for various usables, that was in last month's as well too. Let's see. I'm gonna jump down here. It looks like pretty much for art characters, wrap up on concepts for Xenothreat and Headhunters gang outfit for Pyro. That is different than last year, and of course the backpack concept intended to work with the upcoming salvage mechanics. Uh, that will be interesting because I would imagine you're going to need a pretty hefty backpack for that. Getting getting into the art as far as the ships, very much the same as last month, with the exception of they have the hover quad on there now, receiving its final polish. And this is different than last month with the two unannounced vehicles being worked on. One of them is actually moving into its white box phase, so no speculation on what that could be. One of them could be the hover quad. Um, so that well, this covers January, so one of them could very easily be the hover quad, but that is
Uh,
listed separately.
I'm pretty sure that if once they announce it, it's no longer shown as a unannounced.
Yeah, because it is listed separately for the hover quad. So
Well, and they usually mention it though in the monthly report, like previously unannounced ship,
yeah,
the hover
true.
quad. So we'll see.
So of course they got the Vulture, the Merchantman, the Scorpius, the Hull A, and the Corsair in there, the same as they did for last month. Engine is going to be pretty much the same as last month. So, and this goes back to the whole progress trackers, that these are things that are long term being worked on and having progress, and these monthly reports are listing as these are the things that they're working on, and that's why you see so many repeats month to month. So we've got more work on ship to ship refueling, as you saw with the video from ISC. And of course, the finalize the work on the GravLev updates as far as features. And let's see. Mm, Yeah, actually, a lot of pretty much the majority of this is the same. When we get down to locations, we have the top two are the same, polished with the new derelicts, which I still have to find one. And wrap up on the upcoming hospitals. But the new one is that they began work on Derelicts version 2. So it'll be interesting. I know that they started with the caterpillars. We know that they're going to eventually, hopefully, have the reclaimer derelicts in there. We know they talked about starfarers. So hopefully, when they move into version 2, we'll see some of those other types of ships that are being used for that. With the UI, they polished the Starfarer refueling UI, and they also worked on a new star map. And of course, they're still working on the new Mobiglass and Origin UI. And then get down to vehicle tech, and it basically the future doors and connected components progressed, as well as the upcoming radar and scanning improvements. Which actually we saw radar and scanning in 2021, but as we all know, it's just another step in the overall development of it. There's always going to be more improvements coming down the line. And that's about it. Oh, well, wake effects for hover vehicles is new on the visual effects. So, but that is actually available on the RSI site as well. So if you want the full in-depth report, definitely check that out. Not a whole lot of new stuff, but a few things in there. And we get those monthly, and probably next week we'll see the Squadron 42 monthly report for January if it's not already out by now.
Did
Usually
they
they're
already
about a
send it?
week apart.
Was it? Did they already send it?
I
They send
haven't
it
seen
via
it personally.
they send it via email, but yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, so usually within a week of each other. So probably next week we'll have the Squadron 42 one. So,
But the only thing I was going to say was the PU monthly report. There's a lot in those, a
mhm,
lot, and the thing for me is that it gives you insights into what some of those things on the progress tracker actually are.
yeah, yeah, it does.
That's all.
And it's not a bad thing to have a report of things that actually got worked on. I mean, you can look at the progress tracker, you see a bar going across the screen, great. This goes out and says, yes, this is what we worked on, this is what we're doing, this is what was accomplished. Obviously, it's not a foretelling of what is coming up in the future because this is all stuff they did already. But it's kind of just a progress report of what actually went through and what got physically worked on. Um, but definitely interesting reads, and a lot of that actually is covered in the weekly Inside Star Citizens or the weekly, reports that you see from Star Citizen Live and all that. So a lot of these things will seem familiar when you're reading it, but that's again because it is a report of what's already been done. So, all right. Aside from that, so not too much else that has gone on. PTU obviously brought Xenothreat over, as we talked about. We had a great time with that. What else, as far as bugs that we're seeing? Anril, anything new that you're encountering as far as bugs in the game?
Does seem like desync is has been pretty bad during Xenothread. That was really my only complaint when we were doing it yesterday and the day before. It was just like pip wiggling all over the place and having to get up behind them in order to actually hit the things. But that's more or less my only complaint lately.
Yeah, I mean, we saw with they did the hot fix to try and get desync under control, and I think it worked for a short amount of time, but I think it's coming back to the state that it was before, that it's just an ongoing issue, obviously. Um, I don't know how, I mean, until server meshing and all that stuff. I mean, I think it's something we're gonna have to deal with in some regard for a ways to come though, still.
Well, I was going to say last night though when we were having ships were skipping around and whatnot when you're out
Oh
fighting
yeah.
combat. They're teleporting. But when I was back at the station trying to after my first death, trying to get med pens at the pharmacy, nothing would come up on the terminals.
Yeah, I had that
Uh,
problem too.
and then I ran down to the refinery to try to get them there, and only the left side would work. So
Yep.
to me, there's something else going on in the background. I don't know if it's network load, if it's something with the database, but there was definitely something I felt like there was underneath it all where it wasn't the normal. It didn't feel like the normal desync to me.
Yeah. What about you, Buck? What are you seeing?
I mean, definitely have seen some desync. Like the couple nights before Xeno, we were doing an Idris, just a basic Idris mission. It's like that Idris didn't even know we were there until about 2 minutes in, and it just opened up on us.
A
And
little
then
bit of
same
a
thing with
delayed response.
yeah, and same thing with PV the other night. I didn't see him, he didn't see me, and then all of a sudden I'm spinning out of control and he's blown up.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that, and I think I'll use that same reason for why I crushed Anril's Pisces with the 600i. I didn't see it. No, but yeah, you're right. Because PV was stating that he was, or was it you that was just sitting still, or was
Yeah, I
PV?
was sitting still, and I think we both were, and it desynced us together.
Yeah, and then you got the crime stack because he thought you were I Bucky, and not realizing that it was you. But yeah, that definitely was an interesting issue, and we've seen it before. Back when desync was really bad, we'd actually seen that happen before, and I've had it happen to me as well. One thing that I think is that whatever hot fix they did, it's not holding up at this point anymore. Maybe it's because there's so much going on with Xenothreat being in there. I don't know, but definitely, it's becoming a bigger issue again. Let's see. Horse and Bacon, Xenothreat NPC chat window would glitch out and stay up unless you properly closed out comms. I have seen that one. And actually, Jsco, you were having this issue, I think, the other night when we were on together. Inventory. Try to go into the inventory and it won't pull up your local inventory or your ship's inventory. And flip back and forth between the menus, try to get back, exit out, walk around, go back in like 2 or 3 times, and then it would eventually pop back up and you could access your inventory for stuff. But last night, and I think you might have already stepped off for the night when this happened. It actually happened to a point where it would not fix itself beyond multiple different stations, multiple different instances. I actually had to go out to menus, go onto a different region server, suicide, and then log out and log back onto my server, and then it brought my inventory back.
Wow.
So, because I had tried Mike L1 Tressler and I think New Babish, and no matter where I went, it would not pull up my personal or local inventory. And it wasn't just a matter of cycling it multiple times. And then PV had said that they had heard of this issue, and the only way to fix it would be to exit out, go to a different region, log in, kill yourself, and then that'll restore it. And it worked. I mean, the workaround worked, but definitely a pain to have to do that process when you're trying to run through a Xenothreat. So, but yeah, that's definitely probably the biggest one I'm seeing right now.
Well, the other one that not as severe as that, but the can't pull the tractor beam out, can't pull your weapon out, or you can't put it away.
Yeah,
That one keeps coming back.
yeah,
Yeah.
that comes and goes definitely. H3 says he hasn't figured out what's causing the local inventory broken bug. It could be timing. Yeah, I don't know what's causing that one. It just happens randomly to me, and it's happened a few times.
They're
But
they're te- they're
hmm?
I was gonna say they're testing persistent streaming.
Yeah, there we go. And that's not what we want. We don't want broken things. As far as overall, obviously Xenothreat's the big thing. We've all been playing that, as much as possible, make a little bit of AUEC, and overall the event is just fun.
Yeah.
It is a really good time. Um, as as far as so we're not really finding a whole lot of glitches outside of what we experienced in Xenothreat. Uh, oh, H3 says he kept breaking the inventory with looting. Yeah, actually, Crywo, when we were on last night, he handed me a helmet and it broke it as well as kicked me out the desktop. And of course, I got the desktop and it installed the game again. So I can't explain that one. And but I got back in after that, and I was right back to where I was. But inventory has improved a lot since the previous. Yeah, inventory has improved a good amount, but this is definitely one glitch that is a pain. One bug, I guess we would call it, that we discovered this week, obviously with the A2. Uh, we were messing around with the hover quads. I was coming in with the A2, dropped the Moab on the station, and I killed Anril in H3, and somehow they both got crime stats. Oh no, you guys didn't die during that. You just got crime stats,
No.
didn't you?
Nope. Just instant. Just the moment the thing landed, I just had a crime stat. It's like, okay.
So very possibly, if you want to give anybody a crime stat, just drop a Moab on them. They'll
Apparently.
just get an instant crime stat 3. Hey,
While they're in armistice.
yeah, while they're in armistice, we still can't explain how you guys got that. The only thing I think we anticipated was maybe your ships ran into each other from the explosion or something, and you both got vehicular assault or something. But yeah, couldn't explain that one at all. Horse and Bacon, yes, we were in party at the time, and they did not get the options to deny charges or press charges. It just instant crime stats for both of them. So, All right. So, any other experiences that you guys have had that interesting, fun, or out of the ordinary? Again, I need a crickets button. All
I was
right.
letting them talk.
I know. People probably get sick of hearing me talk. All right. So
Yeah.
definitely, head over to the YouTube, check it out. We actually had some video interesting times that we had over the past week while we were streaming, as well as just playing in general. We found out we could fit eager flats into the hangar of the 890. So go over and check that out, and you'll see some interesting action from Anril and myself running around between the 890 and the Eager Flats. Thank you very much, Lord Floon, for the raid. I greatly appreciate it, and thank you, DJ, earlier for your raid as well too. But definitely check out the YouTube. Also, don't forget follow here on Twitch or subscribe over on YouTube and leave a comment on any video over there. You'll get entered in for this month's giveaway of the Avenger Titan starter pack with Squadron 42 that will award on March 1st. Also for Twitch exclusive giveaway open to all followers and subscribers. Just follow or subscribe here on Twitch. And on March 1st, I'm going to be giving away my previous Gigabyte OC Vision RTX 3070 to one of our Twitch viewers. And it is my previous owned card, so it is pre-used. I have to make that clear. But only used it for 6 months. Was able to get my hands on an upgrade, and I'll mail that out to one of our followers here. The Scorpius, actually, thank you for reminding me. I do want to congratulate Taurus Silver, who won the Scorpius giveaway for Twitch for January. Congratulations to him. I appreciate his support, and I hope he enjoys that. And of course, we also had VCQ won the Nomad Starter Pack, and congratulations to him as well. Got that Nomad Starter Pack with Squadron 42 and the 5 paint pack for our combined YouTube and Twitch giveaway. But definitely keep an eye out for future giveaways on our streams. We're also trying to earn donations towards buying a Polaris to give away to one of our Twitch viewers as well too. So we'll have that going on over the next 60 days or so. But check out our stream every Wednesday and Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then, of course, every Saturday night here, 8:30 for State of the Verse, where we go over all the newest information and such with Jay Scale and myself. And then, of course, our guests from Amarok's Fang. I do want to thank Anril and Buck, both of you, very much for joining us this evening. It's been a pleasure as always, and I look forward to getting in game with you guys hopefully tomorrow night. But thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. I appreciate it, definitely. And Jay Scale, thank you for all your work today with putting all the notes together as well. I appreciate that also. And thank you all for joining us. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night on our gameplay stream. And everybody have a wonderful night.
And thank you very much. It's a good
Thank
time.
you.
Gotta give 'em,
Toodles.
yeah, there we go. There's the toodles. I really got to work on this stream deck.